Well, thanks everybody for joining today. We did one of these last week, and the week before that, we've had some good feedback. So we want to continue to educate everyone out there, let them know what we're thinking. Everything seemed to be so negative, so we want to kind of give you 10 things that we know that you can do, or at least you should be thinking about here during this time period. All right, so let's talk about being diversified. It is more important now than it's ever been before. And most people that I talk to believe they're diversified, right? We've had people come to the office, we've taken a look at what they're doing. They're like, I'm diversified, I've got 40 different mutual funds. Well, if all of those mutual funds are buying large cap domestic stocks, you don't really have any diversification. It just looks like you do. So you need to understand where your money's invested and why it's invested there so you can stay disciplined. And know, do you really have diversification, or you just have a bunch of fund overlap? Here's why that's so important. Let's take a look at the years from 2000 to 2020. In the blue here, we've got a representation of the S&P 500. In the gold is small value domestic stocks. International small is this kind of pinkish red. And we've got international fund, that's green. And then we've got an emerging market. So emerging markets, think your China's, India's. So why this is so important. Look at the amount of difference between the ups and downs through these portfolios over this 20-year time period. Most people that we look at their portfolio, they don't have any money in US small or a very small percentage. Almost no one has international small, even though it can be the highest performing asset class. And most people don't have any emerging markets, or maybe they have like 1%. They just feel like, I'm gonna just dabble a little bit with a couple $100, right? So most people have the S&P and a little bit of international in their portfolio, which if you look over this time period, tends to be about the worst performing asset classes over a long period of time. We'll go into that in detail, but we're going to talk about some market crashes and why being diversified now is more important than ever. It's so that you are able to capture the ups and downs of these volatile times. So let's take a look at 2000 to 2008, right? So we've got the tech bubble bursting, we've got 9/11 kicking off, and so we start to see our blue, our S&P 500, go on a big decline all the way till about 2003, right? So we've been through these times before, ladies and gentlemen, right? You've been through them, you've stayed invested, your portfolio has grown. But why it's important is because we see that even though some of these asset classes are going down, some of them are going up. And so in times like these, we want to make sure that we've got money in all the right places to kind of balance out some of those forces, right? So we want uncorrelated assets in our portfolio. So let's take a look at market kind of hits a bottom here in 2003. What leads us out of kind of this market decline? We see international small value, we see domestic small value, emerging markets over that next decade lead us out of kind of that market slump. International outperforms S&P 500. And so everyone's like, wow, I should really be diversified, right? So we don't know what asset class from 2020 to 2030 is going to lead us out of this slump right now. But being in all of them makes sense because we want to be there for the gain as much as we were from 2000 to 2008. Let's take a look at another period, right? So March 2nd, 2009, the all-time low in the market after the housing bubble bursts. Let's take a look at how the asset classes do the next decade. We saw before some of the small values let us out of it, emerging markets. Let's see if that consistently holds true. We take a look at it, and what do you know? The S&P 500 has had the best decade since the market crash. So the point of these slides is to say, no one knows what's going to lead us out the next decade. It's very important to be in all of the asset classes. If we go ahead and say our green one, our international has been down, I should have all my money in the S&P 500 because international is not performing. If we just go back and look at the previous market crash, that's not true. So we want to make sure we have prudent diversification in our portfolio, that we are in all the asset classes, that we've got the right distribution so that we can be there for the ups and downs, and we can be there in whatever asset classes may lead us out of this slump. Diversification is so important now, more now than ever. So if you don't know what's in your portfolio, right, you need to either get with us or go see your advisor and kind of sit down and find out, am I in all the S&P 500? I may have a lot of different mutual funds, but are they all just buying the S&P 500? It's important now to know those kinds of things. Right, so why is this so important? Let's look at 50 years of data, right? This is evidence-based investing, right? This is our investment philosophy. So we're looking at $100,000 invested in 1970, so almost 50 years of data. If you invested just in the S&P 500 portfolio one here, you got about a 10.6% return, right? Which almost everyone here would say that's great. I would love to have that. Now, again, you got to be willing to lose 35%, 40% here in a couple months, just like we have in 2020 and 2008. But you could end up, if you stay disciplined and stay in that portfolio, about a 10.5% return. So what happens when I start adding in the other asset classes? Portfolio 2, I add in large cap value. Now I get a 10.8% return. I add in small cap blend. I now get 11% return. Small cap value, 11.3% return. Portfolio 5, I started adding in some real estate. I get 11.4% return. I added some international, goes up to a 12% return. Some emerging markets in portfolio 7. I've added 2% to my portfolio. I've reduced the amount of fluctuation in the portfolio because I have a lot of different asset classes, and I've actually increased my return by 2%. Right? So being invested, being diversified is extremely important, but you've got to be willing to stay there. You've got to have the discipline. Right? Again, using evidence to invest is so much more powerful than listening to a guru or the media or your neighbor trying to give you stock picks, right? Follow the evidence. You'll get the return that you should expect. All right.